Okay, I have no idea how far this Bluetooth microphone works, what its range is that I've got on my shirt, but I'm wanting to go up the hill. Hopefully you can see me and hear me as I go up the landslide or the mudslide. It may be that it only hears me when I'm facing you. I don't know. But I want to explain a little bit what we have here and then ask you to pray with us for something. As many of you know, this whole thing went down a year ago, really about 13 months ago. And then in August, the provincial authorities came in and cleaned up the entire landslide and brought all the dirt back, packed it all in, made 2 big trenches, and brought in culverts, huge things. I don't know, they're 3 feet in diameter, to catch all of the water that would come off of here. That was the theory, but in the last week, especially the last 4 or 5 days, we had a ton of rain, many inches, and a mudslide started right there where you see the water coming down, and it came down the trench, which you can no longer make out, and covered up the highest of the 2 culverts, just completely covered it over. And water was running down the path right by the camera onto the landslide and soaking the whole landslide again, which is extremely dangerous, what we don't want to happen. Then we rented a backhoe for a few days, and then Danny and Steve mainly, I hope the wind isn't messing up all of the sound. It might be. I'll have to redo it then. They uncovered the whole culvert. Took them a couple of days. It was a relatively small backhoe. And we had, again, all the water flowing. It was a big mess. They just dumped mud over the side, but at least we kept the water from going down the valley on top of the landslide. They uncovered it all.
This is from the first time the culvert was completely covered with the mud. So there will be a different one later, but this is how they were first found it, and then trying to clear it up so that all the water would at least go down, even though it was covered by that rock that was wedged there at the entrance.
And pretty much all of this water, you can see that's a little bit of an active fall right there. It's falling behind me. I've heard a couple of rocks fall while I was walking up. And all we can hope is that it doesn't all come down. So during the night again, more caved in, more fell, and completely covered the culvert again. Everything that was done was completely covered over. The water was going again. Fortunately, that second culvert that's at the bottom of your screen, the water has been going that way because we made it so that at least all this dirt is a barrier for it to go straight down, and that way it goes down to that culvert and goes where it ultimately is supposed to. But this culvert was completely covered. This morning the guys came up again.
Faithful Steve, he hasn't seen me yet, but he's watching out for the path here.
So they finally found the culvert again. I'll get you a picture of it in a little bit. They found the culvert and opened enough of the hole to where half of this water right now is going into the culvert again. I'll show you a video that Danny took. He went inside the culvert and you can see the water coming into it.
Well, in today's episode of Why Women Live Longer Than Men, there's a huge rock right there, and then that small rock is really opening, stopping up that top area. But getting back closer.
So how did they discover where the culvert came out, where it was under all that mud? Well, Danny went to the downhill side, walked up into the culvert like the video you saw, and then he got a shovel, I guess, and he poked the handle up through the mud, and Steve was at the top, probably up to his knees in mud, looking to see where the pole came out, and that's how he knew where to start digging.
Okay, we've dug and managed to dislodge and send a few rocks in here. So we are seeing if we can clean out this top culvert a little bit.
From here, I can hardly see it. I can just see about a foot of it. And the water's going down in there, but as soon as more of this comes down and covers that, then we've got another problem. So, all that to say, we've decided, though years ago we had hoped to get a backhoe to be able to work on the trenches and get them ready and be able to maintain them. We never really did. And finally, it's come to a point where we think there's no other solution than to have our own machine. We can throw, $700 out, to someone else and have just 2 days of a machine. So we're going to start praying and asking the Lord to allow us to get a machine however and whenever He wants. We're thinking, Danny and Steve have done some research. It looks like for about $15,000, we can get something usable. You can see that coming down. Usable that is big enough for us to at least keep these trenches clear. This is a very, very strong rain that we had. We don't get them very often, and there was no time for anything to grow and get settled. So, it was bound to happen at this level. We hope and don't think we should have a major slide, but at this point, a small slide is a big problem because it covers up the culverts, makes the water run over the fresh dirt and down onto the landslide, sopping it all again before we have any time to plant trees or for the ground to firm at all. And so we just ask you to pray with us that God will somehow provide us with a backhoe. And we're going to save, and we're going to look around, and we'll keep praying, and we'll keep waiting like we've always done at the farmhouse. And when God is good and ready and has the right plan in place, and the timing is all right, the right people, and whatever to make it happen, it'll happen. We have no doubt about that. So, I'm going to quit talking for now. I'm going to go down there, get the camera, give you a picture, let you see what it's doing right now. I'll come up here and video this, and then we'll launch the project. And if funds come in for it, they can go to our mission board, and our agency will have a special fund, and all those funds will go there until we use them for whatever machine we get, however that works out. Because we don't know. We don't know the future. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we live by faith. That's the way we're supposed to. And the Lord has never failed us. He's always done way more than we ever expected Him to do, and in fantastic ways. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Right now, it's a lot of mud. It's a lot of mud. So, oh my. You can see that sliding down, maybe? That's what our problem is. As long as it doesn't slide too much more. But it's even here I can see it's moving. I'll go get the camera. Maybe I'll get a little bit of it. We don't want it to move, but while it's moving, we might as well get it on camera. Okay, if you remember or have seen the video of the Windy Mountain, that's it, with fresh snow on it. And now I'm gonna walk over here. Always keeping an eye on the upper side of the hill just in case. There's the culvert. And there's the water that Steve and Danny were working on. I think I'm going to take those tools and put them over there. So all of this that I'm standing on has just kept sliding down the hill a little bit, probably every hour. And a few minutes ago, I'm not sure what you could see on that video, but you might have seen some of this moving as that has gouged. So that was the original one that messed us up about 4 days ago. Let's end with a shot of the farmhouse where our intensive institute took place 3 days ago. And thank the Lord it's pretty safe from the mud. Okay.
And with this picture of the snow that fell yesterday at the landslide, I'll close down the video and I'll put up there my email address and WhatsApp number. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to write us. And thanks for praying that God will give us wisdom and show us exactly what piece of equipment to get for the maintenance of the Ayer de Lands. God bless you. Goodbye.